behind the road. My name is Mario, the person behind the road.
Welcome, everyone. Today is getting interesting. I have with me someone who's gonna help us. As already told you in the previous episode, at the end of the previous episode, when we were talking about QA in video games, I mentioned about Sam Michel, who's gonna help us to unlock yourself. Actually, she's gonna tell us more about all these interesting topics, and stay there, listen to it till the end. It's gonna blow up your mind. And so today I would like to welcome and to say good morning, Sam.
Hi there. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm really happy to be here today.
Beautiful. How's today London? No, you're not in London actually, right? You're a little bit outside.
I am in a place called St Leonard's near Hastings on the coast, near London. It's about an hour and a half from London, and it's lovely.
But better than London because it's on the coast.
Well, it depends what you like, I suppose. But it's lovely to be by the sea.
I like it. Okay, very diplomatic. Depends what you like.
Well, this is the whole topic of today, isn't it? Unlucky you.
Exactly. So, on me personally, I have a dream of at some point living in a city where there is a seaside. I just need it at some point before I die. I want to live in a place where there is the seaside, where there is water going on, or a big lake, something like that. I need that. It calms me down. It's like soothing my thoughts, and I love it. But for those who don't know who Sam is, let me get some help from my dear friend, the AI. As usual, AI speaking the language of AI, and let's see what you found around about her.
Sam Michel is a visionary leader in the gaming industry and a passionate advocate for holistic well-being. Born and raised in Hong Kong to English parents, Sam grew up blending the best of Eastern and Western cultures, a unique upbringing that shaped her open-minded approach to life and leadership. Currently serving as head of business development at GameJolt, Sam is dedicated to fostering community engagement and building partnerships that elevate the gaming ecosystem. Her impressive career includes key roles at Riot Games, Twitch, Facebook Gaming, and NVIDIA, where she drove innovative strategies in esports and expanded opportunities for emerging talent. Beyond her professional achievements, Sam's personal journey is deeply rooted in a lifelong passion for self-discovery and transformation. Influenced by a family immersed in essential oils, Reiki, Chinese medicine, and astrology, Sam has explored diverse disciplines from neuroscience and psychology to Qigong, Tai Chi, and Kung Fu. Her adventures in both the inner and outer worlds have led her across the globe, constantly seeking new wisdom and healing practices. Sam believes there is no one-size-fits-all approach to life, advocating for authenticity and understanding as the keys to true connection and change. Her mission extends beyond gaming. She aims to inspire others to embrace their individuality and engage in the honest conversations needed to transform both personal and collective experiences. With her blend of business acumen and holistic philosophy, Sam Michel is not just shaping the future of gaming, but also advocating for a more inclusive, mindful, and connected world.
Wow.
How did it go?
Well, I think we might have to edit out some of the professional acumen lists.
Yeah.
I haven't worked for Facebook or a few Twitch or any of those, but everything holistic is correct.
Oh yeah, so so there was like something wrong. This is the first time it happened. So there was something wrong about Twitch. I don't know why I was also thinking like I know you, but I didn't know you worked at Facebook, Twitch, and this and that Riot Game. Do you work at Riot Games as well?
No.
So that was wrong. So listeners, this is the first time they did it completely wrong. Every time everyone is so happy, oh, that please send it over to me. I want to use it. And okay, so
It wasn't completely wrong. It was just professional. I mean, my background is actually hospitality and events. So I've worked with so many different industries and so many different people across my career, but very much in the service and hospitality and events side and people management, right? So
definitely are a people person, right?
yeah.
They don't really see you as being like a video game leader, but like leader in the technical sense, right? We're very similar in that.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I
Yeah,
can see we got on immediately, didn't we?
yeah. But you had such a fascinating journey, blending your career with your passion, also
Yeah,
for how can we call it, holistic well-being,
yeah.
from neuroscience to kind of what how is it, qigong, is that qigong, that's how you say it, qigong,
Qigong.
chi, so the
Actually,
q is a chi.
it depends on the spelling. So the QI is actually Mandarin, and the chi as in CHI, that would be the Cantonese.
I have it as a qi gong. That's the way as I was like
Q,
qi
yeah.
gong. So so from that to qi gong, from you in esport. No, you also, you're right. There also
Not
that
an
part. So
e-sport.
it's like that part is wrong. So
Although
my
I did work again. I did work for the Formula E, but on the event side. I don't know if it's picked up
okay.
some form of esports, Formula E.
Okay, okay.
Who
Well,
knows?
so from that to even energy healing,
Mhm.
you've explored so many
Yeah.
worlds. That's very interesting of you, at least of course, in my opinion. I think in everyone's opinion. But the one common thread in your work seemed to be empowerment and helping people discover their
Mm.
own strength and authenticity.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. I mean,
is that
curious, just so endlessly curious about people. And specifically, I'd say that the inner workings. So, why do they think the way they think? Why do they do the things that they do? Why do they not do the things they want to do? That's another interesting question I've played with. And why do we feel the way we do about ourselves? What stories we tell ourselves? Is it based on what we've experienced in our past, people in our environment? Is it just how we see ourselves? And I found the most empowering thing is to understand yourself in context. So rather than go about life with all these questions, sometimes the most grounding thing can be to accept that you are experiencing this in this context and it makes sense that you experience that. It's a sort of validation, I've found, a validation for why you are the way you are, why you do the things you do, why you're in the situation you're in. Sometimes the context provides a lot of peace.
Okay. In your experience, what are some of the most misunderstood ideas about personal empowerment,
Mm.
and
Ooh,
and
that's
how do you personally define what it means to be empowered in a world that often, maybe too often, tries to put us in boxes, right? How
it.
what's your view?
I love this question. I think we'll go with the what it is to be self-empowered. There's a lot of buzzwords that say stand in your power, right? But what does that even mean? And my experience with this is what standing in your power means, owning your power, being empowered is to know yourself and acknowledge and accept, validate and own your uniqueness. That's all it is. When you have that connection to your uniqueness and that peace within who you are, then you are, by definition, standing in your power. You are empowered,
Hmm.
fully empowered. And I don't believe anybody can give that to you. So while there's these empowering concepts and people might experience feeling empowered in somebody else's space, somebody else's energy, or speaking to somebody, I don't believe that's something anybody can give you. I think it's for every one of us to stand in ourselves and to choose for ourselves.
Feel empowered. Do we need to know ourselves very well? Do we need to go through some, I don't know, therapy? Do we need to have done like some great work on ourselves somehow? What's the pattern? What is the path actually to get there?
I'd say if you were interested in these modalities and disciplines and studies and practicing some of these tools, I think it's wonderful. I think follow what calls to you. But ultimately, if you wanted to not do any of that, the only thing that's required is to be present, because we only have the now moment. So while it's wonderful, if that entices you, it certainly has with me. My whole journey is absolutely collecting an enormous resource pool of different modalities and different disciplines from across traditions and across the world. That's definitely my interest and curiosity, and I love that. However, if it all comes down to one thing, we have one moment here and now, and if all you do is be present with what's with you in front of you and who you are in that moment, well, then the rest is fun. The rest is extra.
The rest is extra.
Yeah. So yes, if you feel called to any of those things, go ahead. Yeah, but know that it always comes back to you in this now moment, and that's it.
How many people do you think, or I don't know if there is a percentage, if there is, or based on your experience, or how many people do they have actually a good understanding of themselves, who they are, who they truly are, what the true, that self of the sense of self validation. Does it happen often or not, or is something that most people need still to do some research and some work on?
I'd say, yes, I'm very difficult to know a percentage, but I think in the state of the world we see today, I would hazard a guess that we are more likely disconnected from ourselves than connected to ourselves, because we're pulled left, right, and center. And, when you are led by fear and stress and worry, that takes you away from yourself, actually. So I think we live in a very stressful time. And I think we all need to be kind to ourselves and find more and more ways to just keep coming back to ourselves in the present moment.
How can you be kind with yourself if you're not satisfied with what you've done, what you've, what you achieved, the family that you put together, which most people actually, there was an interesting study about how many people actually are not even happy with the family they put together. And they are there because they have to. There are kids, they have mortgage in there, or even if they don't have a mortgage anymore, the kids are adult, but after 25, 30 years, they just realize, I'm just not happy with this. How can you be happy with yourself? Okay, so of course here I'm trying to talk about that part of the population that are not happy with themselves. What can change? What do you need to do to change it?
So this is circling back to when we were discussing about validation. I find it incredibly powerful to validate why you are the way you are in your current circumstances, and attempt to find a center within you that is not reliant on the way you look, what you've achieved, your external world. Can you bring it back to who you are and accept, validate, and own, I suppose, who you are? And again, it comes back to that standing in your power. And when you do that from yourself, inside yourself first, that ripples out into your outside world and shifts things beyond what you could have tried to imagine or control with your mind. Because we like to think we can control a lot of what's outside of us. And actually, if we just shift the things inside of us, they happen naturally.
So it's just like a generic detachment towards material things.
I think as humans, I think we get to have access to all the material world. I don't think it makes any sense to deny ourselves of all the wonder of the material world. I think we've found a way to demonize it as well as kind of pedestalize it. It's strange. We all think we're seeking material things and yet feel bad about seeking material things. So I think as humans, we get the whole experience, and we have to find a way to sit with this and both. We get the physical experience and all of the sensory experiences that come with that, and we get a spiritual experience. Because, I mean, even studying neuroscience, one of the first things they share with us is that we don't know how the mind works, which I think was profound, right? Even neuroscience doesn't know exactly how we function. Where does the soul come from? How does it operate here in a human vessel? All of the decisions made by the body at a subconscious level. We have so many unknowns. So we get to have both. We get to have this spiritual experience that is difficult to cognitize, difficult to explain or put into words or understand. We all have that. We've all had moments where you can't explain your experience, right? And also we get to experience the things we can touch and taste and feel and see. And I think denying either, or pedestalizing or demonizing either, doesn't help us. I think we get to have both. We get to have both the spiritual experience and the human experience. So have the chocolate, have the nice car, make the money, do good things, connect with yourself, connect with others, connect with your spirit.
How can we connect? Like, how can for example, like I call myself a proper atheist, right, and non-spiritual in the sense that I have at some point in my life I have refused the idea of believing that there is anything superior to the to flesh and bones and walls and roofs and and metal and like this kind of thing. So only what I see I can touch, and anything beyond that. Of course, on the other hand, though, I'm a person that made an incredible journey inside myself with a psychologist or not. Actually, this is as old as 2 weeks ago. I decided to interrupt, at least not interrupt, but to make my consultation with a psychologist like rarer and rarer. So I said, let's just meet once a month just to see because like it's been, I felt that I'm better. Like I don't really need. I had like a couple of issues and I feel better. And she told me it was relatively short, only 4 months we managed to do this. But Pietro, please understand also this is not really normal. Like you were a person that obviously when you came to me you already exactly knew what you wanted to discover. You kind of had ideas of how to discover it. You have full knowledge of yourself. You know where you come from, you know what you've done, you know who you are, you know what you're good, you know what you're bad, and she said, this is not normally my experience with all my patients. Most people, they go up and downs and, go back and forth. And it's very hard to conduct a proper investigation of the path that brought them to a specific point or something that they want to amend, they want to tweak. So a person like me, how can it become like more spiritual or is that necessary at all?
I agree with you. I mean, I think, is it necessary? I mean, again, it's up to our individual choice and what suits us. If the way you see the world and the way your life is going, supports you and you're enjoying it and thriving and that feels like a full experience to you, absolutely. If you feel like you're seeking something or wanting to know more, which is also very normal. I think there's always going to be a side of us we're seeking. It's very human. We'll seek in the material world, ambitions, goals. We'll seek in the spiritual realm. Who am I? Where do we come from? What is a human?
Yeah.
Like there's all these different trajectories, but it's very natural as a human to come in with this feeling of not being complete almost. We are, but we have this feeling, this tension that sends us on a trajectory of growth, of evolution. If we came in completely satisfied and completely feeling whole, what would we do? There wouldn't be as much of this tension to create this gap that we feel like we have to go across in whatever realm that is. Again, you can look out into the world and see that different people have felt that pull in different ways, different industries, different achievements. But whichever way, whether we like it or not, human beings as a collective, we seek to evolve, seek to grow. So whichever takes your fancy, whichever path takes your fancy is for you. And it's interesting you say about coming to your psychologist with a lot of self-knowing. We'll go into this later, but I took the liberty of going into a little bit of your human design chart. And you have a profile that lends itself to coming in much more connected to who you are. You came in really to have that experience with yourself, and actually are less connected to the collective in that sense. So where you are far more connected to yourself and insular in that, somebody else might be more connected to the collective and have a harder time connecting to themselves. So again, we need both sorts of people, because you bring your wisdom from your experience to others to learn from, and vice versa. If we all had the same experience and if we all did the same things, we wouldn't have anybody to learn from or enjoy the differences. I think it would be infinitely dull in a world where everybody looked the same, did the same. I can't imagine a world like that, because we wouldn't have people in different positions or with different interests. And yeah.
My mom was saying, hard to translate from Italian to English, but something like, in a world of perfection, the idiot would be novelty, sort of, right?
Exactly. The fool.
Something, yeah. It's like 1984, right? When, in this perfect world, everyone's having fun, everyone belonging to everyone. And then the interesting one, all of a sudden, was the, I don't remember what's the name of the savage there. Like, whoa, I don't remember. But, the savage all of a sudden is like the novelty. So it's true, if everyone were super connected with themselves. And also, it would be a strange world. Would be a perfect world. Would be a world probably without wars and without like inequalities.
But we would all be the same. And I think this is what fascinates me most about the work that I've ended up falling into through my own experience, is the science of differentiation, like having access to, a map, a blueprint of what you came in as, what you specifically came to experience, what you came to learn, what you came to teach teach us, because everybody, I believe you come in to learn things and then to teach those learnings.
Many people struggle with personal growth because they don't know where to start. So self discovery, well-being and transformation, all this topic can feel also sometimes, I don't know if you agree with me, but they feel overwhelming. Right? Especially with the sheer amount of information out there. So, and you've explored so many different disciplines, from psychology to martial arts. Also, it's something I would like to talk to you more about that, because I'm also been very much into that. But not everyone has the time or opportunity to deep dive into all of these areas.
Yeah.
So where should they start? What you give us, like the spark, like how to begin?
Absolutely. And I also think it needs to be as practical as possible, because there's some really great information out there. But if you could just read nice things about yourself versus read nice things about yourself and then put it into practice, I think that's where we also need to put more of a focus, right? So it can be helpful. So human design has been one of the most powerful tools I've used, mainly because of the cognitive language that comes with it. So all of the other disciplines that I've learned have been wonderful, and I tag them on as practical applications. But at the moment, I'm using astrology, human design, and gene keys as my foundation because it gives the language that we can use to, again, provide context for ourselves, make it actionable and practical, and also support other people in understanding us.
Can we just have those 3 points again? So and slowly, so at least we have it. And then also, let's start because it's important, right? I don't want to give like too much information. Everything you're saying is fabulous.
Yeah.
Can you start from those 3 points again?
So the reason I use astrology, human design, and gene keys as the foundation to then add on the other disciplines I've used throughout my life, or added to my toolbox. I use them with the practical application, but human design specifically has provided language that I find very helpful. Firstly, to validate yourself, because we like to understand with our minds, and it gives us language to really connect with. And then to apply practical application with what we can do about that. And thirdly, explain to other people around us who are impacted by what we do, using some of this language to explain to them how we are, and ideally, this is my extension, why we do this. When you can validate and put the language to who you are and explain that to somebody else, you can also then start this dialogue between others, and then they can share with you how they are. And we create common ground.
Okay. What are the gene keys?
Gene keys are an evolution of human design. Yeah. This goes into our genetic makeup. It's fascinating. Yeah, we're going to be hearing a lot more about this in the coming years. But I'd love us to focus on the access points in our human design body graph, because when you set up your human design body graph, there are 4 variables. There's 4 arrows on the top of your body graph, and they explain to you how your brain is designed to thrive, what it needs to thrive, how your body's designed to thrive, how your mind is designed to think, the driving factor of your thinking, and how you're designed to see the world. And I feel like these 4 variables, we call them, if you can address these practically and support your brain, body, and your mind, then you will be able to see things more clearly and know what's right for you in life. Things will come up and you'll be in the correct space, if you like, to face whatever comes.
Where can we read more about this topic? Because for me, it's completely new. So it's really new to me. I guess for some people that are listening as well.
Absolutely.
Is there reading? Is there a book? Is there something, some podcast, something we can, consume?
So I would suggest there's an app on your phone that you can download, and there's also if someone prefers desktop, they can use something else. So for desktop, it's a website called mybodygraph.com, and I can send you that link.
Okay, wait a second. My body graph. My body graph. Guess what? Is already one of the search. My body graph. Okay.
Yeah.
I have it. Human design analysis from founder Ra Uru Hu. Is that the one?
Correct. Yeah.
Let's see if exactly this one. Human design analysis from Rahuru. Where this Rahuru Hu comes from?
I believe he's Canadian. He's passed on now. So he brought this through in 1987. So this is relatively new science. But have a look there. Create your human design chart. That's what it looks like. And you'll have centers specifically filled in for you, numbers specific to you, arrows specific to you. And again, human design, Ra called this the science of differentiation. And this is another one of my philosophies, is through honoring our uniqueness is where we form unity. So until we can honor how different we are to each other, I don't believe it's possible to come together in that unity that we all seek, that connection we really seek. We have to own our differences.
Yeah, it's beautiful concepts. I kind of digging into the idea of oneness. Though, despite me being this atheist that I keep mechanicistic atheist that I keep telling I am though a fervent believer of the fact that we are one. There is we need to cultivate, we need to groom this oneness in which we all are as humans, as part of Earth, nature. I am the tree. The tree is you. You are Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt is my table. I think that we are all connected in a scientific way.
Yeah.
There is
Quantum
something.
physics, isn't it?
Yeah, and even there is so much that we can think. Even our way of thinking, I think it shapes the whole world. It shapes us, and then it shapes the people around us. And then whether we have friends or enemies, whether those enemies think something about us, and then they will say to someone else, and that person will do something. It's everything we say and do, everything, the way we behave influence the world. And being part of a one thing, I think it helped me also in the past, understanding that it's important the way I treat others at all times, not just sometimes, not just so when you feel all right, even when you don't feel well. Like, it's good to give a nice smile. Actually, when I met you in London, like at PGC Connect, that day is the day that I got this coffee for free from Pret a Manger. Thank you again to those people working there, because I just went there and I entered and say hello to everyone, and then I was hired. She said, "What do you want?" I say, "How are you doing?" It's like she was like, ah, good, good. And you, how are you doing? And she's like, good. Yeah. So what do you want? I want this. I want the decaf, blah, 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 blah. And then, I gave a smile, and I always do it. I always think that there is so little I can do. No, so little. Actually, so much I can do. We're doing actually so little, and with a little effort. And I made those days, those people's day, and in the end, they say on the house, and it's like, "No, why? Yeah, yeah, you were different. You made us smile." And I think it's important, right? And I try to do that all the time. Of course, I don't always get coffees for free, but it does something to people, especially when you meet someone that has a tedious, repetitive job. Um, but
In this cosmos.
honestly, yes, yes, yes. So, well, I also wanted to ask you if are there any unexpected practices that helped you personally, which you didn't expect to resonate with at first?
I honestly think I didn't expect human design to have this much of an impact on me. I didn't expect that just the simple experience of validating and putting language to how you are, how your energy works, how you communicate, whether or not you have access to willpower, all these different things, how you, again, how we've already discussed, how your brain thrives, how your body thrives, all these little things. I had no idea that it would be so life changing to just have the validation of, oh, that's exactly how I'm designed. It changes nothing outside, it changes everything inside. And this has been my experience with all of my clients, actually, when they come to me looking for something specific. The first thing that I want to get to is the validation of how they naturally operate. And with that piece that comes from that they're actually fully operating as themselves. I mean, we can also operate in the shadow, or we can operate in the healthy expression. So there's that too, but we're always going to be operating as ourselves. And just that again, that piece, connecting to that. And then with that validation, that confidence, that piece, now we can make more conscious choices as to how we want to be operating, more in the healthy side because it feels better. Shall we go into your human design?
Yes, I want to. Never done anything like that before. But before that, connected to what we were saying,
Yeah.
I have like one like little question. If I'm a shitty person,
Mm.
if I'm a shitty person, I'm not kind, I'm not charitable, I don't care about animals, I don't care about other people, I actually am genuinely mean, and I come to you and I ask, help me. What is that? Should I accept myself? Should I, or should I? What is the path there? Like, should I just accept myself? That's how I am, or her,
Oh,
and
I
then
understand
feel.
this. Yeah, I understand this. I mean, first of all, I don't think anybody would like that would ever come to me. Because they're probably just fine being miserable and difficult with everybody. However, I think there is something to say about how we find it. We have judgments on other people's behaviors, right? And we think things. We put them in buckets of what's right and wrong, good and bad, things like this. And while that person, I really don't believe would ever come looking for support, really, because if they'll enjoy their life, right? They won't have the stories. They'll just be what they are, and that will be causing issues around
Yeah,
them and the drama
but
around
let's
them.
but let's say that person is forced, or let's say in a like ideal world where this person is in front of you. So because the point is like accepting, validating yourself is a part of it, right? So
Yeah. But is that, yes, there is a line of like, at what point do you then make an excuse of like, oh, well, that's just the way I am, right? We could
yeah,
just as easily use it. There's always an and both
I hate
in
it.
everything. It's
I hate it.
difficult. So this is my thoughts on this. Yes, when you learn about your blueprint, what you came in with, the trajectory you came in to walk, and all the things, I believe we can lean into our designs to support ourselves through life. It releases resistance. It's never going to be easy. Life is not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be fair. If you follow your blueprint, lean into who you came to be, that is the most correct experience of life for you. So you'll have the correct challenges, you'll have the correct experiences, the correct satisfaction, joy, whatever comes through there. However, we love to create these boxes for ourselves. So it's just as easy, like you say, to say, well, I'm just designed that way. Look here, it's in my chart. So then I'm going to stay here. And I believe leaning into our charts, the point of leaning into them and trialing and erroring to see what works for us, is to ultimately transcend the chart itself. Because I do believe in free will. And we have this, yet again, this duality of, do you come in with a blueprint and have no choice? Or do you come in with free will? And annoyingly, the answer in this duality reality that we live in is both. You come in with a blueprint to follow and you have free will. So if we lean into the blueprint, I believe we get to transcend it. And that's where we get to be whatever we want to be. The problem is that I feel when you're told that when you're young, be whoever you want to be, we first start off trying to be everything other than who we are. So actually who
This
we
is
want to
interesting.
be needs to be who we are first. And once we have gone through and embodied all of who we are in this life, then we get to transcend. And that means in the same life. It doesn't necessarily mean in the next one.
It's I feel whenever listening to what you just said, it feels like that the modern way of the modern schools, they really don't teach us like pretty much anything of what is important in life. And with what you just said, they don't teach you to discover who you really are before actually thinking what you want to be. I think is paramount. I think it's incredibly
Yeah.
powerful as a tool. They don't give us this tool, but the same goes for everything else. They don't teach us the right finance. That, for example, it's
Exactly.
important for everyone. They don't teach you how to invest your money. They don't teach you how to, I don't know if you ever heard about The idea of like 71, 75, 15, 10, I think is like the, 75 of your salary is what you need to live. You need to pay all the bills. Then you have 15% of your salary that is what you should invest, and 10% is what you should put like in your bank account to keep it there as savings. Blah blah blah, and the same is there. So the same is what you were saying. It just feels like the important thing is how to discover who you are and what you could be best at. It's not there, and then you find yourself at the age of 19, 20, and just projected to the world, to the business world, to the professional world, and then you have been chasing something that it might not be the right thing for you. I have personally had a terrible experience because I not having a family behind me, in the sense that we're very poor. My mom didn't have time for anything, so I was not, when I was 13 and I needed to choose my high school, I chose the wrong high school just because my mom asked me, what do you like? And I said, I like airplanes. And she said, bro, there is this school here, right? Go. And I was like, yeah, cool. But it was wrong. If I had, and then I'm not blaming my mom not to do it. She didn't have the time. She didn't have the tools. She didn't know how to do it. But if I had someone behind, a school or someone would tell me, wait a second, you are not a technical person 100%. I suggest you go for languages. You're actually very talented with languages. Maybe you should try something more humanistic, and then you will decide. I don't know, something like that would have been, and that's also something that doesn't happen to many people. And still today, there are more, these generations that they are a little bit luckier. They have all these tools. It's easy to find podcasts. It's easy to find, like, you just type it, ChatGPT, hey, how do I unlock myself? And I probably said, go to Saint Michel. And
like you said, they have equally problematic, because they have access to so much information. And unfortunately, what I'm seeing is it's coming with so much anxiety around making any decision.
Yeah. And people often consume. Exactly. So people often consume a lot of knowledge, but struggle to integrate it into daily life. And you explore both scientific and spiritual approaches. So imagine you have a wide toolkit of practical methods, right?
And actually, it's more, I find it difficult as well. If you continuously add on to your knowledge base, right, you become more and more aware of all these wonderful things you could be doing, should be doing, we like to say to ourselves. And the gap increases between what you could be, and where you're at. So the more you stack onto this knowledge without taking any action, without embodying it, without putting it into practical use and seeing the results in your life, right? We're getting paralyzed. We're having all this information and then we're staying in paralysis. And this, in my experience, creates very difficult mental states, because where you are versus where you could be become greater and greater and greater. And that's quite difficult to sit within yourself. And so rather than just go on a knowledge binge, we do need to gain the knowledge, embody it, and raise ourselves that way if we can, to support this. So we don't have this enormous gap that we then feel like we have to cross. It becomes a chasm that feels impossible. And then you think, oh, well, what's the point? There's so much to do and I'm so far behind. It creates that feeling inside.
Eat, digest, and not eat, of course.
Yeah.
It's incredibly like, you need to thrive through it. Like, really, it's not easy. It's really not easy also.
And this actually is a beautiful segue, if you don't mind, if I highlight some of the things in your chart, for example. So talking about digestion and eating, and we call it the variable for your brain that tells us what your brain needs most is called your determination. And no, you don't need to remember any of this language. And I actually have a freebie if anybody wanted to have a look and look at all the information for their 4 variables. Yeah, I have a freebie in my links. But your determination, your brain thrives in direct light.
Indirect light.
Direct light. Sunshine.
Direct light. What does it mean?
So it means that the way your brain is best nourished.
So let me like, let me interrupt you for a second. So you've done something with
Your
me,
chart.
like
Mhm.
you drafted my own chart, something like
Yeah,
that. Did you?
I did. So I have
Let's do
emailed
it.
you an image. I have yours here, but I've also emailed you an image of this.
Huh.
So you have an
I
image of
didn't.
that in your inbox, if that's possible to bring up.
Let's let me. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Here, yeah, share. So this is my. Are you seeing it? To confirm when you're seeing it.
Yes,
Okay, beautiful. So this is what like
this is
everyone
your
should
body
also.
graph. This is your body graph. So this could be a map. I look at this as a map, a blueprint. This is for you to experience through life, and it can go into so many different layers. So we're just going to touch on a few. But the arrows you can see to both sides of the chart. You've got 2 red arrows and 2 black arrows. The 2 red arrows tell me how your brain thrives and your body thrives. So your brain thrives in direct light. So it means when you're eating or digesting anything, information, when you're learning, when your brain is required to be active and engaged, direct light supports your brain the most. And so this is where I will always invite people to experiment, because don't just take this for what, don't just take it at face value. Experiment, trial and error. How does it feel when you eat food in the day versus when you eat food when it's dark outside? Do you notice a difference in your digestion physically? And do you notice that your brain is more switched on for certain tasks when the light is up and when the light is not? So when it's dark.
Absolutely. That's yes. Yes, for me is so my digestion is terrible at night. I have problem. I need to be careful. That's why every evening of my, well, not my life, or the last 15 years, and it's gonna go till the end of my days, I eat a salad, a mixed salad. I do just a mixed salad because it's light. I try
Right.
to eat as soon as 7:30, as early as 7:30 top, so that I go to bed. I have to do it. So also during the evening, I am terrible at studying, terrible at paying attention to details, and I'm getting more, and I'm different. So if I go out, I have a different mindset. I think differently. I speak differently. Also, if I can say, in the past, also I was more. Please allow me to pass this, like there's my predatory towards the world, towards the others. Like as in that was my. I was more able to try to attract people from the others. Um, in the evening rather than in the day. So
Your
I have a
brain's not
complete
overthinking it. Mm.
it's complete change day and night for me. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's in your chart. So it's something to validate and accept that that's how you are. And so to eat and to study and to do all your processing through the day, digesting figuratively and literally, you want to do that in direct light, and you don't want to be doing that in the dark when it's dark, or in dim lighting or artificial lighting. It doesn't support you. So yeah, that's correct in your experience as well. But you see, if that's news to somebody, they could test that and see if that was true for them and see if it would support them, right? And your body thrives in an environment called blending caves. So, caves is an environment where I'm noticing as well the way you're sitting. You're sitting with your back to a wall, and I'm guessing that you're facing a door. You will be able to see the door.
Yes, it's actually right here
Yeah,
on my left. So
yeah. So this is the caves environment where you need to not have anybody that can walk behind your back. So you wouldn't be able to sit. For example, I'm not blending caves. I have a door just here. And while I don't prefer it, I like to be able to see. It's not going to unnerve me that there's a door behind me as much as it would you. If you were sitting and we were having this conversation and the door was behind you to your right, I think it would make you feel uncomfortable.
yeah, wouldn't though like make everyone feel uncomfortable, or at least this is just my
No,
feeling to everyone? No.
no, this is just you.
Oh shit!
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my god! No, the idea of
Yeah.
having a door behind, someone can enter, can disturb
Yeah.
the podcast, can disturb me, can look at my screen, even though I'm not doing anything, but just like I just don't want it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
So that's
okay,
very particular. So again, you have naturally orientated yourself. You have an observer orientation as well. So you need to be able to observe your space. And as caves environment, you need to be able to see your exit. You feel better in a place that has a one in, one out, the same. So one entrance, one exit, and that you can see. You may enjoy more private events, more intimate experiences, more VIP. You like that. I always say the caves is the VIP masters. Like they like those spaces that have a selection of people that have been chosen. Either they're unique to your industry, unique to have similar reasons for being there, similar interests. Yeah. So I'm. Does that resonate with you? Yeah.
yes, yes.
And you see,
I have nothing to say.
you've done it now.
I have nothing to say. Yeah.
You've done it naturally, and this is the thing. But it's sometimes really nice to be able to put language again. So I have one of my clients. She actually also was blending caves, and she had her workspace facing the window, looking out of the window, thinking, "Well, it's nice. I can see a nice view."
Yeah.
And in this particular room, after she learned she was caves, she realized that she had the door behind her and she could never really focus in the room. She did do all her work there, but she thought, right, let me just move the desk forward. I'm going to put my chair around with my back to the window and my face to the door. And suddenly she felt fantastic and could get more work done.
She did.
Yeah. So it's little tweaks. This is where the practical tangibility comes in, right?
Yeah.
Where you can make small tweaks that put your body and your brain into a position where it's going to thrive. So when you're in direct light and when you've got your back to the wall facing your door, you are in the best environment for you to eat, learn, consume information, have conversations, do your work. This is the most productive environment for you.
Incredible. Okay.
Okay. So we're going to park that. That's your body. That's your design. That's the red side of your chart. Now we're going to just go over to the black side.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
mind,
Let's do
your
it.
personality. So for you, we're going to discuss your underlying driver of your thinking, your motivation. You're in that deep motivation. Now there are six.
Ooh.
There are six
Ooh.
different types of motivation that we have collectively. And it's important we all have different ones. But yours is guilt. So this does not mean guilty, although you may feel that sometimes as a motivator, right? What did you say before about need it? When you were using your examples, you're like, but you have a family and you have this and you have this. This is very much your correct motivation. So you're motivated by the need to fix things. So actually, if anybody comes into your life in business or personal and everything's fine, everything's totally fine, you'll be able to, as you do, be kind, wonderful, on your way, carry on. And when people have things that are going wrong, problems to fix that are in your speciality, in your expertise, that is very motivating for you. Okay, you have a problem, let's fix it.
I'm done.
Good?
Goodbye. No, yes. Yeah.
Because it won't spark you. If there's nothing to fix and nothing to get your teeth into and a challenge that is for you, then it just won't spark your motivation.
That's true. But that's really like, I guess like many people maybe can relate to this, but I personally have this. Yeah. I actually have tattooed over my body, the idea of, navigare in CSS, which is the idea of improving or fixing, of constantly, before when you were said something, you said something about, was it like, I am who I am what I am like this period. And that's one of the sentences that drive me nuts the most, because I really despise thinking, oh, that's how I am, you need to take me. No, I don't agree. I think everyone should try to you need to fix yourself, you need to make yourself better. I'm not saying that you need to say that you need to hate yourself. Love yourself, but keep improving.
Yes.
Keep keep being motivated to improve. Like when I hear something, someone made a comment, it might even hurt me, but then and then I think about it, and then I start like, I need to fix it. I need to do better. I need to do better. I need to
Yeah.
constantly do something. And the same with relationships in a way. They need to get
Absolutely.
better. We need
Fix
to fix things.
relationships, fix people.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I hear you. And when
Yeah.
you might, I'd love to know if you have this experience. So when you're correctly motivated for you, you are in that, you're sparked by this need to fix something, right? Now, if you've ever found your motivation waning or feeling a bit stuck, what it may turn up as something called false hope, because hope is the opposite to the guilt motivation. So it's a transferred experience. So we can sometimes course correct. Sometimes it's easier to see within us when we're doing the thing that's not correct versus doing the correct thing. So for you, you're very aligned. You're connected to your motivation of guilt, your motivation of your need to fix things, right? If you are in hope, if you're sitting there going, well, I hope it'll all work out. I hope it'll be fine. I don't need to do anything. The universe will fix it. Somebody else will fix it. Somebody else will come and do it. If you find yourself in that space, that's when you know that you're out of alignment, out of your correct motivation. And so people with this motivation, that's what they can look out for as a kind of when you know you're not in alignment.
Never felt like that in my entire life. Never.
So you were
Never in
born
40s. Never.
aligned. That's it.
Yes.
However, I will then point out that there is somebody else in this world who is absolutely designed to be motivated by hope. And if they start trying to fix things, they are out of alignment. That would be the opposite to this.
Mm-hmm.
See? So we need people like that. We need people who, like yourself, who are ready to get in and fix things. And you're the person people go to when they need those things fixed. And then we need people who sit in hope, right? Hope is a very powerful expression. So there's some people who are correctly designed to be motivated by hope and not feel the need to get stuck in and figure the details out. Just hold the vision, hold that hope, motivated by this unknown of what could be, right? And again, it gives us this language like, okay, this is exactly how I am, how I resonate. This is my language, and we need you for that. And on the other side, somebody has this language, and we need them for something else.
I like this live reading.
Yeah.
And
we have one more variable for you. So
one more variable, yeah.
So when you're
go.
When your brain is thriving in direct light and your body is thriving in your caves environment, and you are motivated correctly by the need to fix things, you see the world with a perspective of something called wanting. So you can see the wants and needs of the people around you. You can connect to what they need, connect to what they want. And again, you can use your motivation, if it's in your skill set, to fix the things and deliver the things of value to the people who need them. And in return, you are taken care of. That's your perspective. You see the world from the needs and wants of other people and how the things that you could provide would support other people, whether they know that they need it or not. You can see what's good for them.
I can tell you more. Like, not only this is very, very accurate, especially this last part. Mm-hmm. But there is more. And that's not always good for people around me. Yep. That's actually kind of the negative aspect, that I tend to let them know too often that I am trying to help them. I see there is a deficiency. There is something good in you that you don't know about. Mm-hmm. I see that you have this potential that is not expressed. I see that you're doing that thing wrong, and I suggest, and I think. And I do it too often.
I have a way for you to deal with this.
Yes, I have a way, or I have a suggestion, or I can offer you a different angle, or I am too outspoken. I talk too much about it.
I think for me, I'm seeing it as more of a slight shift energetically that you can use, because this is a very initiative. When you observe something in others and then you take the initiative to make a suggestion or make a comment or because it's within your skill set and you can see, right? Because you're a manifesting generator, your energy operates and lights up when you respond. So the ideal energetic connection would be when somebody comes to you and you can respond with your offer, ideally, because that energetically then they see you with enough value that they've come to you for your support, and then you offer it. Versus if you are going to initiate that invitation to somebody else, they may not be able to receive it from you at that time.
Of course, and that's why I say that's a negative aspect of it, because I have, so since I'm a fixer of myself first,
absolutely,
I'm a fixer. I am changing. I remember that I had a girlfriend in the past that she told me, every time she was mentioning something, yeah, maybe we should do this. Okay, let's change it. Let's do it. And remember that once, immediately. If you tell me, hey, you're segregating your trash wrong, I was like, why? Yeah, because don't you see that you're supposed to segregate this from that, like humid stuff from the non-humid stuff. I don't know, for example. I was like, let's do it right away. Or, when you sleep, you're sleeping like that. If you slept like that, I don't know, or whatever. When you say that, I fix it right away. And remember, she's telling me, I never met someone that doesn't need a transition period for changing his lifestyle, his habits, like you just do it.
Well, you expressed your experience with the psychologist. It was the same.
Yes, it's the same. The problem is that then that whole fixing, improving mindset, it's hard to get rid of it, and then it's hard to shut the fuck up with people. It's like, I go to my son and tell him, you are not doing that, and you should do it, because in 3 years when you're gonna go to university, you're gonna have a problem, and he doesn't want to hear it. Or to friends even sometimes. And that's why some of my friendships end, because like, when you do this, you do that, you say this, and I suggest this. I'm very receptive to criticism, but very few people are receptive to criticism like I am. And I don't have also the ability to connect perfectly with the different mindset that is not will. So I'm very good at connecting with all type of mindset, but not very good in connecting with someone that doesn't have the same improving mindset. Like that, what you were saying before, that what was the hope thing, where like something will be all right. It's like, no, don't put your head inside the sand like an ostrich. Exactly, just do it. Like, things don't get better. And I have a problem connecting with those people that think and act like that, because I just think like, no, nothing becomes better just by waiting. There isn't such an option. At least that's the way I think, right?
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
I don't believe it's a problem, because I find you very much aligned to your design. So there's definitely not a problem with that. You are in the flow of exactly how you were created. This is your blueprint and you're following it naturally. And I think it's just a case of, I want to say two things with this. One of the most powerful things I was asked a long time ago was, be careful not to rob people of their rock bottom. So when we can see somebody suffering and somebody going in a trajectory that we can see the end and it's not pretty, the question to ask is, are you robbing them of their rock bottom? Because if you rob them of the rock bottom of their own experience, they have no base to push themselves off of to make that change. You're just pulling the carpet before they get to the bottom. Right? And so then my second point is, how can you sit and accept watching somebody else suffer, especially somebody you love? Can you, and as a parent as well, can you watch your child suffer and hold space to be ready for when they find that rock bottom and push up themselves? Because then you really are robbing them of their own self-trust, self-resources, self-experience, right? And that is so hard. It is so hard to sit peacefully. Like you're saying, oh, I can't switch it off. Can you sit with that, knowing what needs to be done? And can you sit and can you watch and can you make peace?
999. Absolutely nine.
And that's it.
No.
Because that is not honoring their process, their design, their trajectory of life, their growth and evolution as a human. It might be a different timeline to yours.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so if you keep robbing them right before they fall, right, then they just get older and older and older. And what happens when you're not there? Then there's a real problem. Whereas if they fall on the little things earlier and you really teach them, sit with them in that dark and the rock bottom, just be with them and allow them to suffer without having to fix them, without having to offer any advice, you just be with them and trust that they can self-resource, show them that they can self-resource, self-trust, and they can get themselves through this.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
and be ready and waiting when they're ready to invite you, and so you can respond with all the answers and all the fixes as soon as they're ready. Yeah.
As soon as they're ready, yeah. I know that you're right. It's just like
very difficult.
Start to keep this mouth shut, sometimes. But yeah, well, that's that was really like well done. Thank you for this. Thank you. Thank you for everyone is probably listening, is probably amazed by this. And I have to say, for me, that I don't believe in anything. I don't believe in chakra. I don't believe in anything. Like, I can say that empirically, I can say this was accurate. So you have another point of your chart, right? Can you go through it?
Absolutely. So we've just gone through your 4 variables. So we've looked at your determination, how your brain thrives in direct light, your body thrives in this caves environment, your motivation is correct when you're looking at the need to fix things, and your perspective in understanding the needs and wants of others. So you've naturally come to this, and I love that. I personally don't have that experience. I had to really look at my chart and trial and error because I didn't naturally come to these things within myself, but you have, and I love that. And what this then leads itself to is something called our inherent intelligence. So every one of us has a sense, one of our senses that we are most heightened, most connected to, and it supports our decision making and it supports knowing what's correct for us in life. So your inherent cognition, when all these things are ticked as they are for you, is smell. So you will be able to smell whether something is literally or figuratively off. And it will be your sense of smell that leads you through life and connects you to what is correct for you. Does that resonate with you?
Well, I would like to swear almost, because this is this is incredible. So all the other things were incredibly accurate, but also kind of generic that could, go with a vast part of the population. So they could say, okay, you get into that box, sort of. But this one is so specific and it's so true. Yes.
Okay. How does it show up for you?
I just have it like in general. I have a sense of smell that is very strong. That's normal. But it's true that when things are aligned, when I'm, which is kind of often in my life, because I consider myself a happy person, properly happy. I think I have everything going well, from the personal perspective, business wise, also career wise. So I'm a happy person, like generically. And then my sense, the sense of smell is enhanced normally, and it's incredible. I wouldn't know how to describe it, but it's there and defines even my memories, even very often.
It's completely instinctual. It's the first sense that you have access to, and that's the most primal, instinctive.
The strongest.
Yes, it's the strongest.
Definitely the strongest.
It goes beyond, like you say, beyond explaining it or beyond even intuition. It's just this in the moment instinct.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember even the smell of people's house. Really, which is a thing. Too often people don't open the windows, especially during winter. Here in Poland, it's very cold, so people tend to leave the door closed a little bit too much for my sense of smell. And I
You
even
do the
remember
European thing where you open up the windows every morning. Doesn't matter how cold it is.
it's like my mom's craziness for sure. You know, the Italians that have something crazy for opening the window, having like a fresh air inside,
Yeah.
cleanliness, like spotless cleanliness all around. But yes, this is something I have. I remember people's house. I sometimes I say, hey, where you at John's? It's like, yeah, I can smell it.
That's what you come back to. Yes, exactly. Mhm.
Well,
I love that.
so
People.
tell us, like, and now we need to conclude. So I would like you to tell us what you can do for people. What are you working on? So exactly, your role.
Yeah.
What can you do to a client? I'm your client. What are you gonna help me with, or
Support.
Tell me something about what you actually do as you
Mhm.
work, and also if you're working on something. I know you're working on something, so I would like you to tell us
Yeah.
something about that too.
Yeah. So I have it in sections. It's unlocking you in life, health, and business. And these seem to be the things that I'm most called to support in and the things that people most come to me for. I have had my own life purpose struggles, right? And my own health struggles and my own business struggles. So it's through all of that that it's all come good through this. So now I can support other people in that. So it's your life, your health, and your business. And I have varying levels of support from starting with high level overviews of your life, health, and business, and then leading through into much more in depth coaching, support, and ultimately finding a way to basically have my eyes and support and energy, and then to not need me after that. It's a bit like your experience where you go in there, you spend a few months, and you have self-resourced and you have found a way to connect to yourself that you don't require me any longer. So that's my ultimate goal.
Beautiful. And what are you working on?
Unlocking you in business is probably my big one. I would absolutely love to, having done this with people one-on-one, ideally I'd like to work with executive teams so we can see how each of our designs connect with each other and support each other in teamwork and business environments. Have more of a just business environments that are more personal and mean more and are more fulfilling and enjoyable. We spend so much of our life at work that I think it's important that it's connected to feeling fulfilled.
Yeah, it is absolutely. It's a blast. That should be a blast. That's something that we need. We companies, business. So,
Yeah.
Unlocking you in business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
So
one part. And then I know what you're alluding to as well is that I'm attempting to gamify unlocking you as well. So I'm working behind the scenes, and hence the gaming connection. So we will see how that delivers
when
itself.
whenever unlocking you in business and this gamification of unlocking you is live, I want you to return to the podcast, and I want you to tell us more, because definitely I would like them to explore. It can be a little bit shorter than this one, but definitely can be like a 45 minutes where you tell us everything about unlocking you in business. I think that's what people really want. I think that unlocking you in business doesn't, or maybe it's possible, but it's not really possible if you don't first unlock yourself. If you don't
Exactly.
understand yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
You can't be a healthy, functional member of a team if you don't know
First, look at
yourself.
yourself. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you said it.
That's true. That's true. I was a terrible team member up till like 15 years ago, probably, until I started thinking about myself a little bit more and learning about it. So, anyway, Sam, it was absolutely fantastic to have you. It's completely different thing than what I normally do.
I'm thrilled.
It's like, but it was mind blowing. I really think that everyone's gonna love it. If you did love it, please leave a comment, please leave a like, a subscription, whatever you want to do. If you're already a subscriber, hey, stay tuned for the next episode, especially at some point. We hopefully are going to have Sam back talking to us about how to unlock you in business. But Sam, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me, and sending my love to all of you in whatever you're dealing with in life, health, and business. And I hope we get to connect in some way soon.
That's beautiful. Thank you once again. And thank you all for watching. See you next time. Bye.